Good men must die, but death cannot kill their good names. This is the story of the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori, née Ololabi, a generous and caring woman whose name would continue to linger in the hearts of those who crossed her path. The late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori was born into the family of Sulu Ololabi on the 3rd of June 1961. Young Olabode Sulu Ilori had her primary education at Princess African School, Abuleoja, Akoka, Lagos, while her secondary education was at Anwaru Islam Girls High School, Ojokoro, Lagos. The late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori was a successful businesswoman who was into phones and computer accessories, both home and abroad. The late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori gave her life to Christ at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG Amazing Grace Parish, where she did her believers and baptismal class and became a worker in the vineyard of God. She was a minister at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Amazing Grace Parish, Agege. Before her demise, the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori was billed to be conferred with the title Deaconess at the recently concluded RCCG National Convention 2019. She was married to Alhaji General Kolintina Ilori, and the marriage was blessed with a beautiful daughter, Eniola Ilori. The late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori has been described as a devoted Christian and a passionate lover of God. Little wonder why family members, friends and church members turned out en masse to pay their last respect to this wonderful woman, Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori, who slept in the Lord on Tuesday, the 20th of August, 2019, at the age of 58. The service of songs in honor of the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori was held on Wednesday, the 28th of August, 2019, at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Amazing Grace Zonal Headquarters, Okikoto, Agege, Lagos. The service featured series of hymnal renditions, Bible readings, as well as special ministrations by the church choir. In the sermon delivered by Pastor Henry Olasoji, he said there is an appointed time for everyone to die, and as such, we should be concerned about where we would spend eternity after death. He spoke on the different types of death and the type Christians should hope for. As he rounded up his sermon, the preacher urged everyone to live a life that will lead us to eternal glory with God.
No man can come unto the Father except by me. If somebody does not have Christ, it's unfortunate for him. It's unfortunate for him. Why must we die? Because this physical body cannot inherit the kingdom of God. That's what Paul tells us in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11. Rapture can come in two forms. Either when Jesus Christ comes to take us away, or when we die. Sister Labo's rapture had taken place because she has died. I want to admonish my brothers and my sisters here present. Prepare your life as if death will come any time. I'm not come here to say that you will die today. No, don't get me wrong. Because people don't want to die, even in this economic situation. I'm not saying you will die today. But it is inevitable that we will die. When is what we don't know.
Swiftly afterwards, a special prayer session was held for the family of the deceased, as Elder Olumuyiwa Lawal led in the closing prayer, which brought the commendation service to an end. Still in the spirit of honoring and celebrating the life and times of the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori, on Thursday, the 29th of August 2019, a special wake service was held at number 104 Ikbaja Road, Shofunde Bus Stop, Agege, Lagos, where an unprecedented number of guests gathered to speak glowingly of this great woman who shared a lot of joy during her lifetime. The service commenced with a praise and worship session, after which hymns were sang in admirable successions. The service also featured Bible readings, as well as testimonies from family members, friends, church members, and old classmates of the deceased. In the tribute session, the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori was described as a colorful person who was diligent in both the work of God and other social gatherings. They said she was a great friend who saw joy and peace in everything that she did.
I wanted to say something about Sister Olabode Ilori. Sister Olabode Ilori, if we want to begin to talk about her, from today, we will not finish until tomorrow. She is somebody who is always ready to do things for God. When I was here in Amazing Grace as the chairman of the elders in the zone, unofficially, she was like the vice chairman. She was ready to do everything. I remember when we had elders weekend. In fact, not once, not twice. She would tell us that we should not bother about cooking, that she would do the cooking. Sometimes she would say she would prepare pound a yam for us. We should just arrange to get something to do our Thanksgiving. After the service, we usually sit down and marry together. She's always ready to do things in the church. Whatever situation you find yourself in, labor, see, will make you smile. Will bring out the joy in everything and every situation. She's selfless. She's a friend indeed. Because each time, sometimes I remember some things and I just, oh, Labo. I will not go into too many things. But she was a joy to know. She's a friend I will always remember smiling, with laughter, with joy in my heart, smile on my lips, dance on my steps. That's how I will remember Lapu.
In the sermon, Pastor Liki Gbadibo spoke about the legacy we intend to leave behind, which would be spoken of after we are long gone. He urged all, particularly Christians, to learn to live for Christ so as to spend eternity with God.
I tell you, I assure you that she is ready in the bosom of God the Almighty. She has finished her race. She has handed over the baton unto we that we are alive. What are we going to do with our life? The talent God has given you, how are you going to use it? Whatever you have today, God has given you. So I want to ask you, if Christ comes today, can you go with him? If you die today, where are you going to spend your eternity? Talk to me. Sister Labo has been given account about how she live her life. So I want to look at your life. When we're talking now, begin to look at your life. Number one, are you born again?
Immediately after that, family members of the deceased were prayed for by Pastor Henry Olasoji as the wake service was brought to an end. On Friday, the 30th of August 2019, the funeral service for the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori was held at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Amazing Grace Parish, Agege, Lagos. Funeral service kicked off as the congregation sang glorious hymns to usher in the remains of the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori.
I understand we have to stand up because it's being brought inside the church.
The opening prayer to commence the service was said by Pastor Mrs. Moni Ogunsoya, after which daughter of the deceased, Miss Eniola Ilori, read the Bible portion for the service.
For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in the Christ shall rise first. Then we which we are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we never be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. May God bless the reading of his word.
Friends and former classmates of the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori at Anwaru Islam Girls High School, Ojokoro in Lagos, rendered glowing tributes in honor of one of their own. In the sermon delivered by Pastor Leke Gbadibo, he said no one should mourn the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori as she died in Christ Jesus. He used the medium to enjoin all to live sacrificial lives so as to make heaven on the last day.
We're here celebrating the life of our sister, our mother, our friends, late Labo Ilori. We thank you, Lord, for the friends that are here, the Ilori family, the Sulu family. We thank you. I pray that God Almighty will comfort you and His hand will be upon your life. But I just want to encourage you that our sister have gone to rest from all the affairs of this world. She has gone well rather than because she gave her life to Christ. There's heaven and there's hell. she has gone to heaven, and as men that want to see her must walk to get to that heaven. She's sleeping now. God wants to talk to you, because I tell you, when you look at that 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13 to 18, look, God is telling you that don't be weary. Believe that God Almighty has taken her away to go and rest. And that as many that want to see him or want to see her, they should prepare themselves and live the way she lived. And then God will make us to meet again and part no more.
Shortly after that, Pastor Henry Olasoji conducted a prayer session for the entire Sulu Ilori and Olabode families, after which the closing prayer was said by the officiating minister, Pastor Leki Gbadibo, as family members, friends and well-wishers moved out for the interment rites. The reception ceremony, which followed next, was held at the Consult Hall, Ayobo, Agege, Lagos, where friends, family members and well-wishers had enough to eat and drink as they celebrated the life of the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori, née Olabode, which was a shining light.
Hallelujah. Ayọ̀wádìí. Àwọn lájálí ìtọ́núdé. Láti mú kún wá fún wa. Ayọ̀wádìí. Báwa lórí yé. Àwádìí.
From Biscon Communications, it's farewell to the late Mrs. Olabode Sulu Ilori, née Olabode. We also extend our heartfelt condolences to the family.